This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to the Onside Kick. My name is Ricky Widmer, and as always, I'm joined by the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And I say it every week, Mark, but we really do have a jam-packed show for you guys this week. We're going to be talking some NFL Combine, who may have been the biggest bust at the NFL Combine this past weekend, I should say. We're going to be talking about Sam Bradford, who had a new deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're going to be giving our top five, I should say, for wide receivers in 2015. But Mark, the big thing from the Combine this past, I'm going to say weekend, because that's when this player that we're going to be talking about did his 40, his 20 cone drill, whatever other things they do at the Combine that
whip out their dicks.
That really don't mean it. Yeah, Chris Jones whipping out his penis on
He didn't know that
TV.
wasn't part of it. He thought that was part of it.
He thought that you got to get, like, you know how they do all the measurements.
Yeah.
That's
someone
part
in
of
the locker room
measurement.
said it was just one big dick measuring contest. He's like, I got to take my dick out. All right.
But everyone across the Twitter sphere in the football universe, not necessarily saying what we said to name this podcast, but Joey Bosa didn't have the best of NFL Combines this past weekend.
No, he definitely did not. And it's kind of disappointing after all the hype. Mm-hmm. You know, he was being looked at as one of the number one guys in the whole draft. He was being looked
at the number one guy.
Mm-hmm. Depending on who you want to ask, but for the most part, yeah, he was number one. I think he actually had an interview, too, where he was talking about being looked at as the number one guy and all the expectations that come with that. And then, it just didn't work out. He didn't perform the way he should have. And that's always disappointing when you have one of these players that you think, like, this is the big guy, he's number one. Oh, I guess those stats don't look that impressive. Now, of course, with that being said, you got to kind of take the Combine with a grain of salt sometimes. You have those guys that shoot themselves way up to the top of the board when they don't belong there. You have guys that are really good players that kind of hurt their stock a little bit and end up becoming the steals. I don't know if that's going to be Joey Bosa this time around, but yeah, definitely disappointed so far.
Well, and I mean, the big thing that jumped out to me is not necessarily like the first thing that I know some people were looking at is the whole, like, you're talking how you want the big bucks, you want to be number one overall, and then you kind of lay an egg.
Yeah.
In the 40. Then there's the other side, like Mike Golick on Mike and Mike was saying he hates there are people out there that hate the 40-yard dash and think that it's stupid that we grade a guy like on how fast he can run the 40, especially for, and I kind of agree with this, like they were talking about Laramie Tunsil's 40. I'm like, really, an offensive lineman, do we really need to, like, evaluate how far he runs 40 yards down the field? Because an offensive lineman is never going to run 40 yards in a game.
A guy like Joey Bosa is never going to have a clear 40 yards or hit that quarterback. Someone's going to be in his way.
He's going to have to go around someone.
It'd be more accurate to say, all right, here's your 40 yards, but there's going to be three dudes in the way. Get past those guys. Let's see how quickly you can do that. That's more telling of what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. But I think for the Combine, and it's kind of hard to wrap your head around sometimes because really the Combine is just a skills competition. We just want to see who's the freak athletes, who's the guys who are saying just based on talent or, based on that freak natural abilities. Those are the people that we're looking at through this. And, you do want to see someone like Joey Bosa go out there and run a quick 40. You do want to see that he's fast, that he's agile, that he could chase somebody down. It's nice to see, but at the same time, all these scouts know they've got the tape they can look at. They've seen him perform. And it's not like he's, from East Carolina. Mm-hmm. He played in a real school, in a real conference, as much as I like to make fun of the Big Ten. He played in a real confidence.
He played in
against
a Power
real
5. He was a national champion just a year ago.
Played against real competition out there. This is no Division II football.
Yeah,
this is the real thing.
This isn't a Jimmy Garoppolo from Eastern Illinois.
This is the minor league football out there. He's a real player. So
just call it the minor league football instead of college football.
Same thing. there's no minor league NFL
in the
yet.
NFL. But here's the thing from his interview that I didn't get to that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And here's the quote, and I'll read it. When he was asked about if he'll run again, maybe at a pro day, he goes, "We'll see if I run. We'll see what the team's times are with their hands. And if they come out pretty well, I probably won't run." To me, I see that, and it's like, I get the 40-yard dash kind of argument of, is it worth it, is it not? And it may not be worth it. However, you got to play the game. You have to, it's just one of those things. How many times in just anything in life where I remember have been having this conversation with my grandfather in the past, like, "Hey, Grandpa, I don't want to do this." And my grandfather would say, "That's how it is. You just got to play the game. You got to do this." It's something like you got to you got to talk to this guy because you got to finagle him. You got to play the game. This is how the NFL is. Well, you got to play the game.
The pro days are kind of a joke. We always kind of make fun of those more so than the combine.
Well, I mean, look at Johnny Manziel. Wasn't it he that...
Didn't he only miss one?
Yeah, I don't think he missed a single pass. He had the music blasting.
Yeah.
He was kind of like...
He's got his swag going.
It.
But it's like we make fun of the pro days because they're so scripted. A guy like Joey Bosa can sit there and say, "Hey, the 40's not my best, so I'm just not going to include it."
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. The thing I would have loved for him to say in this is, if the coaches want to see it, we'll do it. If the scouts want to see it, we'll do it. That's what you would like to hear him say, is because it's your time. The combine are the things that you have to do.
Yeah.
The pro day is you choose what you want to show off. And it's kind of defeating a little bit. In one sense, he's saying it doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Go watch my tape.
It doesn't matter.
But in that case, you might as well say I'm not going to do a pro day.
Yeah.
Watch my tape. So that argument kind of goes out the window for me. It's more of just him saying, at least how I interpret it, is saying, I didn't do well, and I'm probably not going to do well next time too.
However, one of the big things with Bosa that everyone's kind of jumping on the comparison wagon with is he's the same height already as J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, just like Bosa, came out of a Big Ten school. Watt went to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, the Badgers. And if you looked at their 40-yard dash, 20-yard shuttle, and 3-cone drill, the 20-yard shuttle was the same, 4.21. Bosa was 0.02 slower than Watt on the 40-yard dash, relatively the same, let's be honest. And then 0.01 of a second slower on the 3-cone drill. So eerily similar to J.J. Watt. And now you have all the, to me, I'm going to say Bosa supporters, like the guys who are really in Bosa's corner saying, "Well, look at that. He's just like J.J. Watt. He'll just shock the world and be the next J.J. Swat."
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think you can shock the world anymore after J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
He's already shocked us all. But, it's interesting. I made the joke before we recorded the podcast where I was saying, that bust J.J. Watt, I haven't seen him win a Super Bowl for his team yet. Because
only defensive player of the year.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't gotten to the Super Bowl yet. A fantastic player. So that's one of those situations where it's like, hey, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Now I wouldn't think we have all the same expectations for a guy like J.J. Watt that we had for Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa, we're saying he's going to be J.J. Watt or better. Mm-hmm. So that's J.J. Watt kind of made that unfair. He put the ceiling, or not the ceiling, he put the floor right there because people were already comparing Joey Bosa to him. So it makes it even worse in his case. In one sense, you might have teams going, well, that J.J. Watt guy, I'd sure like to have him on my team, right? Let's go ahead and draft Joey Bosa because he is, J.J. Watt light, essentially, or J.J. Watt equal, depending on who you're talking to. So teams might jump on that. They might jump on that a little faster this time. I don't really think it hurts his draft stock too much. Maybe you could use the argument that it won't be number one.
That's what I was going to say. There's the only thing it hurts is that, because to me the Titans were, as of right now, they were looking at the decision Tunsil or Bosa. Tunsil or Bosa. And now this gives the Titans a reason to say, there's a little bit of doubt. Let's go with Tunsil and protect the franchise.
Yeah. Now, I was already, if you go back to my mock draft, you already saw that I said it's not going to be Bosa.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Bosa didn't do anything to prove me wrong. on this time. So not much is changing at the top of mind just yet. Mm-hmm. You'll have to wait and see the full thing a little bit later. But nothing's changing just yet as far as I'm planning things. But we'll see. We'll see what the Titans want to do. Interesting thing from his ESPN interview that I watched. Mm-hmm. When they were talking about, do you think you're the best player or whatnot? And at one point he's like, it's all up to Tennessee to decide that. I thought it was very interesting to kind of get into the mind of a player and just have one of these top guys who just will legitimately say the number one team. Like, it's up to Tennessee to decide if they want to take me or not. I think it's very interesting to see that type of thing. You see it with certain players. And in this case, it's a little, I don't know if it got to his head. I don't know if it's just that he was never that top combine caliber player. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what it is, but we'll have to see.
And the one thing is, it may not even be Tennessee that's drafting there. There's already speculation that the Titans, of course it's a little bit different because, and I know this wasn't a number one pick, but just like when the Rams highway murdered the Redskins, and just took everything
Redskins
from them.
Still feel the pain
for
of that.
A quarterback that they're probably just going to cut.
Oh, he's gone
this season.
He already packed his bags.
There's like the Titans. They're talking about the Titans trading that pick, but right now I think the Titans keep it. They take Laramie Tunsil, and I was going to ask you a question, but I feel like you answered it with you'll have to wait and see my mock draft, because your next mock draft comes out next Tuesday. Mine comes out this Thursday, and I'm going to say this about Bosa. You know me, Mark. I like when I get something, it's really hard for me to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, you have already went out and predicted the Super Bowl winners for the next 5 years.
Yes, it's really hard for me to...
You are all Mr. Bold Prediction.
I am very bold prediction, but I'm going to say this as of right now, and of course we've said it before, with the mock draft game, things have changed. Like, things can change. Where, like, right now in the 3.0, this is what I think.
If they don't change, why are you doing a 4.0?
Yeah, but when I do a 4.0, it may be like, okay, well, I was wrong here. He's going to be up here. But based on the combine, I'm throwing it out there, he's not going to be a top 10 pick. I feel right now Joey Bosa, and, of course, all the pundits out there who hate the 40-yard dash could be typing right now in the comment section, you're full of shit, the 40 means nothing, blah, blah, blah. He's still a top 5 pick. I just have a feeling that teams this could be a scapegoat kind of thing and give teams a reason to kind of
if
say
they're on
no.
the fence, it might be the thing that tilts them the other way. It's kind of what you're saying.
There's 2 teams in the top 10. 2 teams in the top 10 that if they took Joey Bosa, I could be like, okay. The first one, like if he wasn't going to go number 1, the next team is Baltimore, because Cleveland is going to take a quarterback. Dallas, I don't think, would take him. The Chargers wouldn't take him. And the thing now is, because of this time, DeForest Buckner, to me, is now the number 1 pass rusher. Mm-hmm. So maybe a team would take Buckner before they even took Joey Bosa in the draft, but the Ravens and the Niners are the 2. If he goes in the top 10, it's going to be those 2 teams. If he doesn't, he's going to fall out of the top 10. How far does he fall? You'll have to wait for Thursday to find out how far I've got him falling.
It'll be interesting to see. I just want to play those. I like to think about the dream scenarios. If teams get their dream scenarios, what do they do? A team like the 49ers, like if they got a guy like Wentz sitting there or Goff sitting there, but Joey Bosa has fallen, that's a fun game. Who are you going to take? You going to go for that quarterback? Because you don't know if you're going to have Colin Kaepernick. You don't know if he's going to come back. Or do you go for that elite defensive player that would turn things around, J.J. Watt style?
Or you know what I'm thinking? Like, because everyone right now in the media is talking about the Ravens being that team. Oh, if Bosa's there at 6, the Ravens should take him. Well, if we get to draft day and it looks like, okay, the Ravens are going to take Bosa if he's there.
Number 5.
The thing that'll be interesting, and this kind of goes back to the movie Draft Day for those of you who saw it, what team outside of maybe the top 10 or maybe from 7-10 say, ooh, I would like Bosa. Let's see if we can work a deal with Jacksonville. And would Jacksonville trade that pick or say, no, we need a guy like Jalen Ramsey. Let's go ahead and take the best corner.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're not going to take your trade.
They'll trade, the 3 next years of first-round picks, then somehow manage to get all of those picks back and even more. It's very impressive. Very impressive GM style right there. Have you guys seen Draft Day? Because it's a good movie, but we talked about it, I think, last week.
If you
They do not understand how the draft works.
If you know the draft, it does not follow.
I traded everything
draft rules.
away. Now I got everything back and more.
Wasn't he traded, or he traded them to the Seahawks and then got it back?
I think it was the Seahawks, but he traded like 3 years worth of first round picks and then got all of it back and more.
But the last thing to end the Joey Bosa discussion I want to throw out there has nothing to do with Joey Bosa. This is just a random question about the combine. Mm-hmm. Based off of what we've seen with Bosa and the combine, was it smart now, looking in retrospect, was it smart for a guy like Laquan Treadwell to say, I'm not going to run the 40?
No, I don't think so, because you're always... Here's the thing. You go to the combine and 2 things happen. Well, 3 things happen. You're bad, you're average, or you're good. If you don't go to the combine, I'm sitting there saying, why didn't you go? What did you not want me to see? What were you afraid of me finding out? And then no matter what, it's a negative view for me. No matter what, if you don't go, negative. At least the other way, you can be average or good.
Well, he went to the combine. He just didn't run the 40
Well,
at the
if you
combine.
if you don't compete in one of the events, you don't show up. That makes me just say,
Laquan Treadwell,
you didn't want me to see something.
Treadwell did everything else. He did the workouts for wide receivers. He just said, you know what, I'm not going to run the 40. I'll wait till my pro day. To me, I look at that and say, like, there's 2 sides to it. The first one is, okay, that's the one, like, wide receivers, the one position that the 40-yard dash, that and running back, are the only positions that...
You might be interested in what the quarterback does.
Maybe, if it's like a Marcus Mariota, but... The wide receiver is the number 1 position. I want to see that 40-yard dash, especially if it's a guy like Corey Coleman, who we're saying just take the ball deep, or like a Randy Moss, just go far and I'll throw it to you. I want to see how quick you can accelerate and get down that field. That's where the 40-yard dash comes in.
Especially a guy who's supposed to be number 1 wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting choice.
However, there's another side of it where... This is Treadwell kind of trying, I'm going to use the word cheat the system a little bit, because Bosa ran the 40, didn't do so well. Everyone's talking about, he's going to drop in the draft. No one's talking about Treadwell dropping. Nobody's saying Treadwell ran a bad 40, and for a wide receiver, I feel like a bad 40 would hurt more than a defensive lineman.
But I think it'll be the kind of thing that comes back to get him. Mm-hmm. When it gets closer, they'll be saying, but remember, Treadwell didn't run the 40. Why? There's always going to be the question, and he can say whatever he wants. Just wait for my pro day.
He's got to have a lights-out 40 at his pro day.
He's got to run a 3.8. Not even possible, but run it. He's got to do something absolutely incredible. Because, no matter what, you're going to sit there and go, why didn't he do it? And you will not have an answer to that question. There is no answer to that question. Mm-hmm. He can say whatever he wants, but there's not going to be an answer to that question.